Well, hello, hello, and I was going to say good evening to those that's evening, but good day. So, welcome to another episode. I believe this is episode 7 of Her Journey. And I am Jackie Cameron. I am your host.
And I'm Cassandra Cash, your co-host.
Yes. So this afternoon, we're going to do something fun. We're going to do something a little different. Mother's Day is coming up. So in honor of Mother's Day, we decided to do this episode with a very special person. And so when I asked her if she would do this, she said yes. So I am honored that she accepted this invite to come and spend a little time with us and talk to us about the journey of motherhood. And so I know this person very well. And so she is a beautiful mother, wife, but even more a beautiful daughter. And I've got to see her grow and blossom and just become a very awesome person. So I honor her, my daughter, Dr. She's gonna call me for this.
Yes.
Dr. Ashley Sutton. Well, we're gonna go back. Dr. Ashley Cameron Sutton. We gotta put the Cameron in there now.
Yeah,
It's my middle
She has
name.
worked long and hard, has sacrificed when others were out doing things in the library, doing this, and she has her PhD in psychology, and she is an amazing psychologist and person foremost. So I'm very proud of her and proud to have this conversation with her on tonight. So I was gonna ask her to introduce herself, but I think I kind of stole a little bit of the introduction. So I don't know if you want to repeat anything in the intro that I missed.
Add something, anything.
You want to add something?
No, I feel like you covered it. So I'm Ashley Sutton. I am by profession a licensed psychologist in Massachusetts. I have my private practice called Re-Anchored Therapy. But also during the day, I am a school psychologist where I work with elementary age students. So probably throughout the week, I see anybody from ages 5 up to 50
Wow.
for psychological needs.
Great.
Yeah, and then for the purpose of this, I'm a wife, but I'm a mom, and I am your daughter. You covered it all.
Okay, awesome. So I was thinking Mother's Day is coming, so I thought, who better to have on than a first-time mom? So my daughter and her husband has the privilege of raising this amazing, fiery,
Oh, yes.
beautiful baby girl that God has blessed them with, named Nuri. And Nuri is now 11 months old, so we are 1 month away from her first birthday, and you can't even believe it. It's so exciting, and she is definitely showing signs of personality stepping out. So I wanted Ashley to come on, and we're going to talk a little bit about motherhood and how she's dealing with that, what she thinks of it. And so I think my first question for her is, so my grandbaby, her daughter, name is Nuri Fatima Sultan. And when she first told me the name, I said, wow, I like that. I was like, where did you get that from? You know, I said, that's a beautiful name. So if you would tell us a little bit about how you chose that name and the meaning behind that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I feel like that name I always kind of had with me. So when I was in graduate school, I worked with a young lady in my research lab, and her name was Noor, Noor. And I always liked it. So, and I asked her what it meant, and it meant my light, she told me. And I always, immediately I clicked that I really liked it because one of the things that my mother, you, had prayed over my life is that I would always be light wherever I go. And so I want that same prayer for my daughter. So as soon as she said it, it kind of like clicked in my brain. But then I heard this variation of it, which is Nuri. And I really like that even more. So I kind of kept that nugget. And it means in Arabic, my light. And then in Hebrew, it also means my fire. And she is both of those things. Yes. And then Fatima, yes. And then Fatima actually was because my husband, his name is Katim, and so he liked the team part. He
Mhm.
always loved that, so he came up with that name, and that name means captivating, which she's also that too. She does. She's very much takes the energy in the room. So that's how she got her full name, Nuri Fatima
So
Sultan.
she's light, she's fire, and she's captivating.
Yes.
That's pretty good. That is
Yeah, that
pretty
is.
good. That's pretty good. And what would you say is the best part of being the mom of Nuri at this age or just in general?
Oh my goodness. So the best part of being her mother is that I get to be a student and a teacher at the same time. I get to see the world through somebody else's eyes, how they're exploring it, how they're interacting with it. A lot of times, like in my life, it's just go, go, go. I'm not often thinking about the conversation I'm having with the world and the conversation the world is having with me.
Yeah.
But through her eyes, I'm able to stop and reflect on that.
Mhm.
In addition to being a teacher, so like helping her to navigate her world and
Mhm.
explore that curiosity that she has,
Mhm.
protecting her space so that she can be free,
Mhm.
has been something that I've really just enjoyed. I've always loved being a cheerleader of people. That's why I'm a psychologist. I love being behind the scenes. I love seeing people grow and evolve and change. It like really excites me. So being able to see that in her and to be like her permanent cheerleader has been the greatest joy.
Wow, that's awesome, awesome, awesome. And given that thought, what would you say has been the hardest part or of being Nuri's mom?
So the hardest part, I will say, I knew this the first week of being a mother. And it is the fact that you have to approach motherhood as a whole woman. You
As a
have to
what?
a whole, like a full woman.
Okay.
You have to approach it with your cup runneth over. Almost. If I have a full cup, if I am a full person, I have my values, my goals, and my dreams. If my cup is full, and even if it's runneth over, she gets to benefit from that. She never has to feel lack. There's not room for any resentment or any feeling like I sacrificed so much, you should be grateful. There's no room for any of that. She gets to just benefit and feel full. However, if I enter this with my cup half full and I'm trying to pour into someone else,
Yeah.
there's all this room for guilt, from resentment, frustration, irritability. There's so much more room for all of that. So immediately I knew that I had to come at this as a full person. Like I had to have my cup, I had to fill my cup constantly,
Okay.
which is very hard to do. As especially in the first few weeks when it's all about baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that was very, very clear to me. And then also being a woman. So being a woman who has thoughts, values, goals, and opinions, I think it's very important for her to know who I am or know to at least say she knew her mother. She may not agree with me all the time. I know she won't. I'm already preparing myself for that. But for her to fully say that she knew her mother, she knew the goals and the dreams, and from there, she has an understanding of why I parented the way I did or why I navigated things the way I did. Within the first week, those things became very prominent to me. And because of that, I have to say, in order for me to fill my cup, I have to let her go sometimes. Like I have to let the grandparents watch her and I have to go fill my cup. And so that has been very hard, to like let go and let everyone else be a part. Yes, that has been hard. But I would say the hardest thing is self-care in that process, making sure I have a full cup.
Yeah. And so since we're there, one of the questions is about self-care. So what do you do or what are you willing to start to develop for yourself in order to have that time for self-care so that you can make sure your cup is full?
That is still a work in progress. I think trusting my intuition, listening to myself a little bit more, making time for just me, just quiet time
Yeah.
or quietness. I am a person who's very like reflective. So I truly need to have time to like sit with my thoughts,
Mhm.
to really be able to hear myself and to hear God and what he's asking of me.
Mhm.
So really making that time, whether it's like 5 to 10 minutes after she goes down for a nap or goes to bed,
Yeah.
being able to just be with myself, be in silence.
Yeah.
I won't even lie. A funny thing that I often do too is I'll just say, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's my escape. Like I've remodeled my I feel like I've remodeled my bathroom. It's now a Zen den after having a baby because it's a nice place to escape to just hear myself think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think also too, the other thing that I do often work on is trying to I I used to love to just read, but now sitting down and reading is too hard. So I do listen to audiobooks. And then the other really important thing that I picked up honestly, since becoming pregnant, is journaling. It's been a really like important thing to me. Specifically, I'll journal letters to my daughter.
Nice.
And it's been a place where I can just be open and honest about things.
Mhm.
And I don't know if she'll ever get it. Actually, my journal starts with, I don't know if you'll ever get this journal, but if you ever do, or if I ever do give it to you, like, I just want you to know what the experience of being a woman is like. So I've been journaling a lot and been sticking with it, honestly, for the past probably 2 years.
That's amazing. I think that would be such a gift to her.
Yes.
Just so that she would know your thoughts too.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about, the things about self-care, I reflect a little bit on myself. And one of my favorite places was when I was in the car by myself.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
going to and from work or whatever, that quiet time, it's like, okay, it's like party central in here, we making
Yes.
doctor's appointments,
gotta
we're
find
having
it where you can.
conversations, we're being silent,
Yes.
I would ride even without music, cause I'm just like, I just need quiet.
Yeah.
So, I like that you are developing or have some things that are measurable that are in place for yourself, cause that's important. As they always say, you can't put the mask on yourself first before you try to put it on someone else, as they say on the airplane. So it's so true, of that. So
I really love that analogy about the cup being full and being a full woman. I don't think I've ever heard that description that way, and I think that that's amazing. Being a full
Absolutely.
woman.
Yeah, and this question is like my fun question. It's like, so is sleep deprivation a real thing?
Oh, yes. You what? Is that a question? Oh my goodness. There's no way you could prepare for it. Everybody told me sleep, sleep, sleep before you have the baby. There's no way you could prepare for that. Like, there's nothing. And it's funny because in the back of my mind, this is me being very naive. I'm like, I got a PhD. My husband, he's got an accounting degree. We're educated. He's a night owl. I'm a morning person. This baby can't knock us out. That baby took us for a ride of our lives. Still taking us for a ride of our lives. Like, I was
Oh
like,
my.
this can't be. Yes, sleep deprivation is a real thing. And I think, honestly, I maybe have said this to you. And I said, once I realized I didn't need sleep, things got much better. Like, once I stopped focusing on it, it'd be like, it's okay. Like, if I need a cup of coffee, it's going to be all right. Things got much better. So,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
it's real.
You accept it, acknowledge it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Wow.
My husband described it as having a baby is like the doctor taking a Rubik's Cube of your life and shaking it up and then handing it back to you. And you spend that whole first year of like postpartum just trying to figure out how to get that Rubik's Cube back together. So once you've just accepted that it's been shaken up, it's okay.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And this isn't one of the questions, but I just heard you say something. So did you experience postpartum?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And what would you say to women that are experiencing that?
Yeah, so I won't say clinically, I won't say that I experienced postpartum depression or anxiety, but I did definitely experience baby blues, which is like those first 2 weeks
Okay.
of just feeling right after having a baby is when you feel sad and things like that. If you feel like, if you still feel depressed 2 weeks after, please go see someone. Please
Yeah.
go to your primary care doctor, your OBGYN, just putting a plug in there, because there's so many mental health supports out there available. Depression, anxiety, psychosis, all those things are real when your hormones are going through their loop. So, and they're a normal part of the experience. So please go see someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would definitely say like the first 2 weeks, I mean, just I could go from crying to then crying because I was happy to then feeling like, did I mess my life up? Like what is going on? And then also too, it was like weird because in my mind or what I've seen on TV is like people have their babies and they're instantly bonded with their babies. And it's like, oh, I just couldn't imagine life without them. And that initially for those first 2 weeks, that I can't say that's fully what it felt like. And honestly, she felt like a third wheel that I was like, oh, who's gonna come pick her up? Nobody's coming.
Nobody.
Okay, all right. So I guess she's here, and I guess she's a permanent third wheel. So it definitely it really shocked me because as a psychologist, I would think, oh, I know what to look for, I know the signs, but I will say, and I did not expect those emotional roller coasters to happen the way they were happening. And to just be so unexpected. And and I think what kept me in those moments is like I will not feel this way always. Maybe let's set a small goal for myself. I won't lie, like the first week it was like, can I just eat a meal and can I take a shower? Like that was honestly my goals for the week. Like just survive. I'm not trying to be mother of the year. I don't even know what it's like to be a mother. So I don't know how to be that. Let me just survive the first 2 weeks. And then after it was like, can I make 2 meals a day and take a shower? Like, oh, I'm making breakfast? Okay, I'm getting there. It was really just trying to create small steps for myself because trying to be who I was and now have this new baby was way too much.
So you think that it's really changed you because you were just saying how you was and how you are now, which is really important. Because I was also thinking about postpartum depression when we were mothers. I don't recall. I don't know if they talked about it or we just look. You ain't got time for it. Your mom would say you better get up, take care of that baby. It wasn't talked about it as much. And actually, I was speaking with someone today that said that their sister had it. So I think that that's really, really important to speak of that to everyone. And then, now that you have the baby, it is a transition of the new you. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't feel like the same person. And honestly, I don't regret, I don't feel bad about not being that person anymore. I just feel like the priorities have changed. My priorities have changed. My values have changed. And it's also given me a confidence to fully stand in those now. I feel like, for example, I value family very much so. And sometimes at work, I'm like, nope, I leave my computer at work now. I don't bring that home because it's not important here. Like I am the only person that can do this job. Anybody could do my job there. So I'm not worried about it anymore. And it gives me I have a confidence about that now. I would say also too, my priorities. I think before I used to just make my schedule and just go with it. But now I honestly rank my schedule over like what needs to be done today and what's okay with being left for tomorrow. Do I have to have all of the laundry washed and folded and back in the drawers today? Or can I just make sure that they're washed today? Like my priorities have changed and now I do things according to like what needs to be done and then what is a extra credit for me. I think also the way I see my friendships and interactions, like it's just different. I feel I'm grateful because I feel like I've lived every version of Ashley and I liked every version of Ashley. So I would never go back to any of the other versions of Ashley. Like I really like this one. This one, she feels like she has a lot more confidence to like stand in who she is. And also there's an urgency for me to stand in who I am because somebody else is watching over their shoulder, watching me. So that's like a lot. That's changed a lot for me.
That's a really good point. Can I just ask? I just want to ask. So what would you give to young mothers? Because I heard you say that you felt like you was actually in different stages and you completed, you lived that. So like for women that feel like they didn't get a chance to fulfill those things as a psychologist, I just want to speak to that part because I think a lot of women all of a sudden are pregnant and what you need at this point in time, you're now a mother and your priorities really need to change.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for those kind of mothers? Because now you have done that, and I know that a lot of that is in part that you were able to fulfill all those things thanks to this mother, and how she is, because I know her. But I'm also just thinking, while we're doing this, to kind of put a thing in for those other mothers
Yeah.
who do not have, you know what I mean? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yes, there's no perfect road to this motherhood journey,
Good.
and so I think for those mothers, I would definitely say it's very important to do your work to figure out what do you value. So one of the things I do in therapy, like when I'm even starting with a client, is I will give them a list of values, just random words, whether it's like respect, family, work, home, adventure, any of those things. And then I will tell them, tell me your top 10. And then they'll tell me that, and I'll say, tell me your top 5, and now narrow it down to 3. And so really thinking about those 3 top values for you in those moments. Values are going to change all the time.
Yes.
And really, but the reason why I do that activity is because a lot of times when people start to feel disconnected with who they are, or any of those other bigger emotions like stress, anxiety, and stuff, a lot of times if you boil it down, they're not living according to their values. If they value family, but they're spending so much time at work, that's part of the reason why they're feeling the way they're feeling, stressed out. And so, and then a lot of my work beyond that is like, how do we get to a place where we're living we call it like a valued life, like we're living according to our values, and how are we making time to live according to our values as much as we can, is very important. And then also there are some things that we can't change, right? This baby is here. So I would say to that mother too, like, let's think about how we're focusing on it. So we could focus all of our attention on the fact that this baby's here and I couldn't live my life, or we can take a space back and see so much more to this picture of like, this baby's here. So sorry, I'm gonna use an example because it's right here. So one of the ways that I explain like anxiety and stuff like that to people is that sometimes when we're anxious, or sometimes when we have a hardship, or if the baby's there, the stress about that, we might have it like here in the front of our minds. Now, I can't see you. You really can't see me. It's really impairing my interaction with you right now, right? What if we're not getting rid of it, can't get rid of the baby. What if we just shift that stress about this new baby to being here?
Okay.
So yeah, I still can't like fully work the way I used to, but I still have a hand. I'm still able to engage with you in conversation. The stress is still there. It hasn't gone away. But let's focus on shifting that priority in this space. So that way you still feel like you're living a valued life despite having the stress of this new thing that you may not have expected. So
didn't mean to put you to work, but I just want to.
That's amazing.
no.
I love that.
That's a great.
I'm so proud of you as auntie, so
That is awesome, awesome. And I think the next thing when I think about motherhood, everybody wants to give you advice, right? Everybody wants to compare their babies to, oh, your baby's not doing that yet. Oh, okay, this is what you need to do. Do you feel overwhelmed with people giving you advice? And do you find yourself comparing? Are you able to block out and be like, okay, no, this is my kid and this is how we're doing it? Because it can become overwhelming, because people are doing it feeling like they're helping you, but it becomes too much sometimes. So how do you handle that?
I'm still working on how I handle that professionally. It is a lot. Like motherhood is so hard, and I don't understand why we have this why we push people to live up to these gold standards of motherhood. It is hard. It is so hard. Like, it's like, okay, I gotta have the baby. I gotta have the baby unmedicated because that's just way too much. Then after that, I gotta exclusively breastfeed the baby because no, you can't not do that. Oh, then you gotta make the baby sleep through the night 10 hours out of the night, even though you don't sleep through the night 10 hours, but you gotta make the baby do it, right? Like you can't,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh my goodness. It's like, and oh, there's so much research for everything. And I think for me, I do get caught up in it sometimes. I
Mhm.
do, like, especially when people are like, oh, well, I did this for my baby, I did that for my baby, or sometimes I'll tell somebody something. I told somebody at work, like, oh, she takes a bottle in the middle of the night. They're like, no, you could sleep train that bottle out of her. She doesn't need it. And I was like, how am I going to tell my daughter what she doesn't need? She's waking up because she's hungry. I want her to trust her body. So I don't mind getting up and making the bottle and giving it to her because it's telling me she's trusting her body. So one of the things I have to tell myself when I get caught in that rabbit hole
Yeah.
of listening to everybody is, am I satisfied with the relationship that I'm having with my daughter? I realize like motherhood, and I'm sure I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm sure it's different for every child, but it is literally your own dance. It is your dance with you and that baby, right? And it's you're dancing to your own music, it's your own rhythm, and you guys got to find what works for you. When you start looking to the outside, looking at how other people are dancing,
Yeah.
that often leads you to get tripped up in your dance. So
Yeah.
like I often try to tell myself, like, this is our dance, we're doing good, we're working together. I'm satisfied, she's satisfied, and because of that, it's okay. Is she
Yeah.
sleeping through the night 10 hours? No. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm satisfied with the sleep I'm getting at this point in my life.
Yeah.
She's satisfied, and that's really all that matters. This is our
Mhm.
dance. This is our song, and we're working it out over here.
Mhm.
So I try to just remind myself that I'm in my own dance with my own child,
Yeah.
I love
and
that
let it go.
description. I think of the Rugrats. Do you remember that show?
Mhm.
And they were always talking about Dr. Spock. And I'm like, who are these men writing books about childbirth? That was always my thought. Like, who are these men writing books about childbirth? Like,
Yeah.
where did you get this information from?
Mhm.
Yes.
But I like that. I like that description about doing your own thing. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
That's a
And it keeps you centered and grounded when you
Yes.
do get overwhelmed. You have to pull yourself back and remind yourself like, okay, this is our dance. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we have to figure out the steps to our own dance and not compare ourselves to other people. Like, again, I think I said in one of my other episodes, comparison is the thief of joy.
Mhm.
And you keep trying to, satisfy other, and you're just miserable. So staying on your own dance is very, very important. So if you were to describe motherhood, can you give me like 3 to 5 words? You might need more, but at least 3 to 5 words to describe motherhood.
First word in my head was a roller coaster, but I don't want to use that one. That's not the idea. I would say it's selfless. It's selfless work. I would say it's a magnifier.
What do you mean by that?
So whatever you feel about yourself, I just feel like it's now magnified. I feel like I'm like now under a magnifying glass. So if whatever insecurity that I had about myself or how I feel about myself, it just feels bigger. I'll give you an example. So like there's times whenever she's stressed or sad or any emotion really, it's Mem Mem. That's my name. She calls Mem 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 Mem. And one day I had like a rough day at work. It was exhausting. I'm not feeling the most like competent or confident in that moment. And she was just calling me. And I looked over to her and I said, I don't even like me enough right now as much as you like me. I wish I could like me in this moment as much as you like me right now. Like, because I don't. And it was just like that, even though I felt that way about myself, probably, and I wouldn't have said it out loud if she wasn't there. Her calling me or her desire for me to be bigger than I was really highlighted that insecurity that I had in that small moment right there. So I do feel like it magnifies things. I also feel that way about like marriage too. Like it just amplifies who you are. I think sometimes people think that having a baby or even getting married, it may allow you to mask some of those insecurities that you have, but really I think it's the opposite. I think it really amplifies them, because now you really, not only do you have to live up to them, but somebody else is constantly seeing them.
Yeah, it's like that mirror.
Wow,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's honest, that's really honest, that's really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would say that, and because of that, I think there's a deep vulnerability to being a mother that, if you are not comfortable with being vulnerable, it can be very hard,
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
We could easily resort to the like, do as I say, not as I
Yeah. Mhm.
do thing if you're not comfortable with being vulnerable, with
Yeah.
your insecurities. So I would say like selflessness, a magnifier, amplifier, and then also that last piece of vulnerable, being vulnerable.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good, that's good.
And since these are not impromptu questions,
I know,
okay?
she's like,
Okay.
taking a deep breath.
So now, since having Nuri, do you feel like holidays and when you come into a room to visit, do you, and I'll put your husband in this too, do you guys not feel invisible? Is it like the gifts are for the baby, everybody's taking the baby out your hand, nobody's saying, hey, Katrine, hi, are you okay? Do you feel like you guys are kind of like become a little less important?
Yes, but we love that.
Oh,
So we actually are more, we're people that are behind the scenes. We love to support people. We're the people that you call when you need something done,
yeah.
but you don't want nobody to know that. Like, we're those people. Like, our wedding day was actually a lot more stressful for us because we were front and center. We don't like to be there. We like to be in the back.
Okay.
So this has actually been nice for us because we can kind of fade to the back,
Okay.
and let the baby shine, which has been nice. So it's actually been okay. I think maybe I would actually change that up, because maybe in the beginning I did wish and appreciate it when people asked how I was doing.
Okay.
And I would say I think he did too, because it is this big transition and journey, and you do want a space to talk about it. Like, I did want a space to talk about my birth story and talk about what this journey has been like. So it was, in the beginning, I think I did look for that more, like, wait, hold on, I'm here. Like, hi, postpartum, still going through it. Yes. But now that like we're almost a year out, I'm okay with like fading to the background a little bit and letting her just shine. Because I feel more comfortable in being Nuri's mom, not a mom, just Nuri's mom. I'm much confident in that. The reason why I say that is because like sometimes I get overwhelmed by the idea of being a mother, because I think of like those TV moms, the standards. So you got to be cooking every meal with a smile on your face. And
High
yes,
heels
I'm
on.
gonna, yes, and everybody's gonna be, well, honestly, bathed and fed and in bed by 8,
House
and
is
it's
in
gonna be
order.
amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do all that. But like, I know her. I'm focused on our dance. I can dance with my child. I got this. So whenever I get worried about being a mom, I'm like, I'm not trying to be everybody's mother. I'm just trying to be Nuri's mom.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that really helps me to like ground myself.
Yeah, that keeps that. I offer everything else and kind of focus in on her and who she is. And I think my other question was, are you starting to see her personality shape
That's a loaded question.
and do you see some of yourself in her personality?
Oh,
I can
you
answer
know
this
that.
question, but I'm gonna let you do it.
Oh my God, yes. She may look like her daddy, but she got my personality. Yeah. She lives up to her name. She is light and she's fire.
Yeah.
She's got this very like, one thing I love about her is that she really, as soon as she goes into a room, it's almost like she's taking in everything. She's very quiet. She's not loud. She's not going to scream. She's not going to cry. If you try to pick her up, she's going to be okay. She's really taking it in. And then based off of her assessment, she then shows her personality in different ways. So sometimes it's just the bubbly, She can jump squat anybody under the table. She does about 100 a day. She's also making a bunch of noises and different sounds and cooing and all of that and rolling around. She's very busy right now. But then there are other moments where she could just be very like silent, just taking things in, reserved. I will say when I first had her, one of the other things that kind of freaked me out at the beginning was she actually was born with her eyes wide open. They handed her to me and her eyes were wide open. She wasn't eyes closed, none of that. And and even throughout the whole process of them, trying to dry her off, wrapping her up, eyes were wide open. She was looking around. She was very curious about what she wanted to see. And so I remember I journaled about that. Like, always remember you were born with your eyes wide open. So never let anybody in life play you because you came here ready. But I remember when I saw her, when her eyes were open, I immediately said, God has a purpose for you bigger than being my child, and I'm curious to see what it is. Because that's just her personality. Like that was from the moment she's born, she's been very much a child who wants to take in everything. And I've just been blessed to know that. And is she like me? Yeah, a little bit. I think I'm fiery. I definitely could be fiery. So that's going to be an interesting battle match between us growing up. You guys can get your popcorn ready for that journey.
I'm gonna sit back with your mom and just watch it because I've known you, Ashley, for a long time. I'm just like, ooh, okay, Ashley.
Yes.
You don't hold no punches. You just be like bringing them out, slamming, man.
Yes. So I think I'm gonna be my match though. I think I got my match. Because she has lots of years of being my understudy, so I think I'll meet my match.
Absolutely. She's gonna watch everything you do and take it all in.
Yeah, and she's very smart. She'll pick up things very quickly. So I see a little bit of myself in that too. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see who she becomes. I don't want to stifle her. I want her to be assertive. I want her to find her voice. I want to teach her to trust her intuition. And that it's always there. I want to help her connect with it and learn to trust it. So I'm excited. I try to protect her space around her, but also allow her the space to explore her curiosities. So if she wants to see how something works, I'm like, oh, let me show you how it works of this. So because I don't want to limit her experience as she's just starting to explore who she is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Do you have any questions that came to mind while she was talking?
No, I'm loving this because can't wait. I'm gonna have my popcorn to sit back and watch Ashley Lynch's Nerd.
My money's on Nerd.
That is.
Yeah, Daddy's just gonna be like, Ashley, just let her have her way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of who
absolutely.
you've become and the mother that you've become, but I watched you blossom. I watched you go through school. I just think it's amazing. So I cannot wait to see her grow up. You know, the two of you, the three of you rather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blossom into this wonderful family.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I loved how when you talked about you and Nuri having your, it's your dance and you guys are discovering the moves to it. But in observing you and even I would say Katim, I'm gonna bring him into the picture for a moment, who is a wonderful young man. Love my son-in-law. It's like I just call him my son. You guys also had your own dance, you know what I mean? And you guys did things the way that was comfortable and right for you guys, you guys have been together for a long time and there were people like, well, when you get married, when you have the kids, and none of that none of that swayed you guys from getting off course. You continue to stay the course that you guys planned, and you guys continue to have your dance when other people are trying to come in and put some moves in for you. And then you guys, um, you guys have an amazing, not only marriage, but friendships, because you guys are friends. I wouldn't say friends first, more than
Mhm,
anything else, and you guys built that friendship, and so Nuri has been blessed to come into a well-balanced
Yes.
family, you know what I'm saying? Where both people are not only physically, but emotionally available for her,
Yes.
so that's rare. Unfortunately, it's kind of rare in today's society, so she is above and beyond blessed. She had grandparents' love is over the top.
Yes.
So she has been very, very blessed. And you guys contribute to that by just being who you are guys are and having her when you guys were ready and, just doing it your way. So you guys, so definitely you are learning her dance because you guys created your own dance, so she's coming from professional dancers. And so it's gonna be easy for her to step out and be confident in herself. And the world awaits what she brings us, because she's definitely bringing us something. This girl could stare. I'd be like, she's a people watcher. I'd be like, what you see? Because she is not only staring, but she is observing. Like her look is just like, I'm gonna tell you who you are when I get some words.
Yes.
So
I have a question.
Oh, okay, you have a
I
question.
know I'm not supposed to ask questions
You
on
can ask
somebody's
questions.
podcast, but I'm gonna ask a question. I'm curious, Mom, Miss Podcast host. What has been your experience with watching your daughter navigate motherhood?
Okay. Wow. So the guest turns it on the host.
Sorry, that's what a daughter does. I told you I'm fiery.
It is, that's what you do.
So my experience watching you has been, what's the word I want to say? It has been, well, it's wonderful, to see what you're doing, but it's just like, when I think of it, I think of proud, you know what I mean? I think of like, wow, like now I get to watch my daughter raise her daughter. And it's like, that's just so amazing to me, and it's different than watching my son who has 3 children. This experience is different for me, for my daughter. It's just like, you got to have the experience of carrying and, just going through that whole motherhood experience. So it's just like, it makes me reflect that, I hope that I have done a great job being your mom. So that now you can now pass that on to Nuri. You know what I mean? So watching you care for her and nurture her, it kind of takes me back. It's almost like looking at myself as my younger self.
Yes.
Raising you, and some of the things she does, I was like, oh, well, that's Ashley, when Ashley was all, hi, you took her out and she was banging stuff and everything. And so it's like, I'm getting to relive some of that. It's bringing out warm feelings for me. It's bringing out feelings of emotion for me, that now I get to like see this like a replay, but now I'm not the mom, like you're the mom, and now I get to be the grandmother. But I'm watching this unfold, and it's pretty amazing to see your daughter become a mother. And so I think for me it's exciting. And it's just like, I'm ready. I know I'm gonna get my popcorn soon. I can't wait. So I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna start popping the popcorn. I'm waiting for those conversations. You'd be like, you know what you did? I'll be like, something like somebody I know. And I'll be like, remember I told you, I want you to have a child person just like you. That's my biggest thing. I was telling my kid, you're gonna have one just like you, and then you're gonna know exactly what I meant. So it's just amazing for that to be the experience now watching you have her. So it's overjoyed, it's overwhelmed, it's exciting, and most of all, it brings up emotional feelings of when I carried you and then coming to her full, the pregnancy. And, I almost got my grandmother's car beat for revoked because I wasn't in the, I was for the. I didn't quite make it to the delivery. Because I had gone to my nephew's graduation and she called me at the airport. She said, I think I'm going to the hospital. And I'm like, wait, no, you won't wait till I get back. And so we had a little moment there, but I made up. I said, I'm going to get to that hospital before she could say, you better get here before this baby goes home. I came from the hospital with my suitcase and I got on in there before she got discharged. So, but yeah, and so to see you when I walked into the hospital, holding this baby, I was just like, wow, this is crazy. My daughter has a baby, and the joy that you guys had on your face, it was just, I don't even know if I have the right words for it, but it's such an amazing, to be a part of the journey, to be present for it it's more than words can ever express. So yeah, so I'm watching you come into your dance of just motherhood by itself. So it's awesome. And I know you also have some grandkids, so I know
I have two.
you might have to come over.
Oh, yeah, sorry, my
Yes.
computer died.
Yeah.
So yes, I have two, so I know how.
From your
wonderful
daughter,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah,
Mhm.
from my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
And so it is amazing to watch them go through things
Mhm.
and discover themselves. And yes, I was like, you just wait, I'm gonna get my revenge. Yep, I'm all good.
Isn't that terrible? We sit back like, yes,
Yes.
that's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Mhm. Yes. Well, I feel like I'm understanding that. I want to say too, in one of the things that I feel that my mother did well to prepare me, to free me to fully be the woman that I am and to also become the mother that I am now, is that my mother was able to, when I got older, to stand in her truth and to hear what my experience was like of her as a mother.
I thought those exact words to come into
That
her
is,
truth.
yeah, that was, I can't, and I honestly fear that day for me. um, so I hope I can even be half the woman you were and how gracious you were to hear what my experience was like as a child. And I think in that, not only did you take the time to truly just hear me without judgment, but also then you added so much revelation to what I experienced that it allowed me to approach with grace and a hug for saying, wow, I can't even, like, you really gave me insight into the woman you were at that time.
Yep.
And why you made that decision or why this went that way, which gave me a piece that, if that, with honestly some of the trauma stuff that I experienced in my childhood, it freed me. It was like, no, like I don't have to hold that, and I don't have to I don't know, it just gave me so much of a piece to allow me to really like go on and really fly. To be who I wanted to be and be who I want to become. And so I often say to myself, oh, I hope I can stand as strong as my mother did on the day that Neri calls me out. Because she will. I know she will. I'm not expecting to be perfect at this. I'm gonna try to progress, not be perfect, but progress.
Yes.
But I just hope that I can stand as strong as my mother did on the day when she calls me out, or on the day when we do sit down and have that conversation and she tells me what her experience was like in different stages of my motherhood journey. So I want to say thank you to you for being able to do that.
Supposed to make me cry.
No, but thank you for doing it, because you don't know that not many mothers can do that. Not many mothers want to hear their children tell them what their experience was like of motherhood. We go automatically into that default mode of, who I'm talking to? You ain't talking to me like that. Like, because we don't as humans, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's very
it's very
vulnerable
uncomfortable.
to be called out for something. It's even more vulnerable if we know it and then somebody calls us out on it. That's very
Yeah.
a vulnerable place.
Yeah.
So I think because you were able to really stand in that, hear it, and then validate it, and
Yeah.
then say, this is how I experienced it, really allowed me to feel heard, to feel like I can put that to rest, to now be able to like soar into this new phase of who I am. So thank you for that too.
Can I ask a question? So when you say, not necessarily that you called her out, but you made a comment about how your mom, when she was able to come into her truth. You know what I'm saying? So her sharing was able to enlighten you.
Yes.
That
Yes.
to me is really like a revelation. Like that to me is a really big thing, because I know mothers, and myself as one, sometimes our children call us out. They don't necessarily call us out in certain ways. So I'm just kind of interested in that conversation, but also how important that is to be open to it, because she just said you were open to it, you were willing to listen to it, and then it helped her grow as a person. So both of you had to be vulnerable at that time, correct?
Yes.
So both of you had to be open to that, okay, because you may not have known exactly why she did what she did or how she went through it, but it also helped you to learn and grow. But she was also able to pour into you because she did the best that she could at the time that she was there, thinking it was the best at that time. Am I?
No, yeah, that's true. And I mean, in making no
Oh my God,
excuses
that
for it, you
just-
know, like
No.
putting words to it, you know, sort of like what we said in our last episode, like
Yeah.
having that conversation with our children, being humble enough to allow them to say how they experience you as a parent. How did, you know, and I was like, we should have it, like, how did my parenting affect you? You know, like, we're not gonna like what we hear. But you know what? We have to be able to say, you know, forgive me for not showing up for you the way I should have because of what we talked about my unhealed stuff, right? And then you have this experience where you have children and bring them into that unhealed version of yourself, and they get to experience life with that unhealed person or both of you being unhealed. And so in that moment, you know, some of the stuff she said, like, I was just like, wow, you know, I was just like, she really said that. Like in my mind, I never said that to her, but then I had to be like, okay, well, let's talk about it. So this is what I was experiencing, why you thought that, or this is what I thought, oh, you know what, I never knew that. Okay, so now you, that's why I talked about, there's not just communication, I'm talking about effective communication. Effective communication is two vulnerable people willing to listen, actively listen, and then reflectively responding, letting the person know, I think this is what you're saying, so I'm hearing, then empathetically listening, you know, so they know that you have heard them wholeheartedly, and then forgiveness comes in, and then it's just like, okay, now, all right, I understand you better, I see where you were at that point, you know, whatever, and I can remember one of the things that Ashley said to me, about when I asked her, I don't know if you remember this, and we were having a conversation, and I was like, you know, about something about what did you have you learned from me? And she said, well, one of the things I've learned is I've learned what I don't want. Yes. And I've learned what not to do. And I was wow, you know, so nobody wants to hear their child that, wow, you taught me what not to do, but that was a lesson. And that's her truth. Like by watching you, I learned that I will never do this. And this is what I do not want. And right, and so
That's so poignant.
you have to be in that space where you're able to hear. And then she was in a vulnerable space where she was able to receive. So
it was a
other people-
maturity. Maturity at that point, sensitivity, vulnerability, and maturity.
Yeah, so
because I understood more. When you're a kid, you can only work with the cognitive functionings that you got up there. So, you know, when I'm 5 or 6, I only got maybe 4 emotion words, like happy, sad, angry, you know? So when I see things, I'm trying to put all of that into the 4 or 5-year-old brain context. And so a lot of the work as an adult, kind of going back into therapy, but in real life right now, but a lot of the work as an adult is really to sometimes go back and revisit those memories and those experiences and be able to really unpack them now that you have your adult brain to do so.
Yes.
And so there was like a maturity, because I remember saying to my mom, it had to be something about like, oh, and even the way I worded it, when you did this, I felt unprotected. Why didn't you speak up for me? Why didn't you say this? And she was like, I hear you. Forgive me for that. But what I was thinking at that point in my life was I was trying to create peace. And by creating peace, I didn't want to speak at that moment because I didn't want to create more chaos. I didn't want to add to the chaos. And now as a woman, I can think I didn't at the time, but woman, 3 kids, chaos is happening. The last thing you want to do is keep adding to the chaos. So I get that. I get why you didn't. And so now I'm able to forgive because there's also a maturity there that I can now see her perspective. Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my God, that makes me want to cry because it's so important, and it needs to be that. It has to be that two-sided thing. It can't be just one way, and you can't bring it at you did this, you did this. You have to be willing on both sides.
It was a lot of I feel. So like we're talking about the action. We're condemning the action, not the person.
Not the person.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been amazing. We got deep into motherhood. So thank you for taking the time to spend a little time with us. We're gonna see you again in another couple of weeks for our next episode. We're gonna be talking a little bit about the wounds of an absent father, physically and mentally. So Ash is gonna come back and join us for that conversation. But today we say thank you to all the mothers out there. Mother's Day, it's Sunday. So I hope you get the day off and you don't have to cook anything, prepare anything.
Mother's Day.
Yes, your first Mother's Day. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, I'm not doing nothing. I'm
learning early, girl.
This. No, take out all the way.
She said, I already decided that I'm off that day.
Early.
A happy Mother's Day to you. We get to say that. We're so excited, and we look forward to more conversation with you. And did you want to add anything else?
No, but you know how proud I am of you. You know that I am. I just beam every time I say, "That's my niece, Dr. Ashley something." That's what I do. And you have a baby, and but I learned so much from your mom, and you know that. She is a pillar. And I told her, I will stand right next to you, behind you, as I watch you grow, because this is her time, and she is so much to give and to share. And just the way that she has maneuvered through it all and learned and opened up her mind and her thought process to be able to share with someone else, to say, I did this, you can do better. Don't do this, do this. You know, it is amazing to me, and I stand actually in awe of her, and will always stand and be like, yes, that woman, I will follow. Yes, she's the one. And you know, we've gone through, okay, we're gonna start this business. Okay, sure. We're gonna start this business. Okay, sure.
But we are doing it. So so we are proud that we are actually walking this journey out, jumping on the podcast. So again, we're gonna let you get back to your beautiful baby girl and your hubby. Tell them we said thank you for letting us borrow you for an hour. And you enjoy the rest of your evening.